He's at 67% health. He had 1.1 million. And he is absolutely decimated. Look at that. Hey, welcome back to the channel. All right, it's time to talk about the newest playable champion in MCoC, none other than Dazzler. I've been talking to you about her on this channel for quite a while. I've been able to test her player. There's a reason why I'm saving my Mutant 2-3 gem and my Awakening gem literally for her. Let's go ahead and jump into this. These first two fights are going to be like basic, essentially battleground showcases. This is all going to be on the CCP server, that fantastic map they set up for us so we can show these things to you. This is what would be a 7-star rank 3 Doom. Not in the game right now, but what he would be like. Remember all his crit resistance. So Dazzler is all about like this tempo, not only in playing her and keeping the tempo of the fight going, but literally tempo. It's going to be in the upper left-hand corner. You're going to see it grow every time I hit Doom, okay? You can go all the way up to 100. It's a big deal for the buffs that are going to come in for your special too. That's why you want it to grow. But the other thing it does is when you get to multiples of 10, you see how the roller skate there turned pink. I can go in and do my dazzling attack, which puts a passive falter on the opponent. You saw I was able to punish the special like it's no big deal. I'm going to show you some other uses for that too, because if you hit their block, you're going to put a passive stun. And we're going to get our SP1 up. You can see we hit our inputs. You want to hit your inputs. You're going to see the callouts for those. It's really not that bad. I've been able to do it, pick up pretty quickly, and I still struggle with vision. So just so you can get an idea of how easy that is. The SP1, if you nail those, is going to get that big, nice energy vulnerability up. You saw it still up there. The SP2, you're going to have more inputs. If you get 4 out of the 5, the last hit of the SP2 is a guaranteed crit. You're getting those big precision buffs anyways. That Doom was done in 42 seconds. That was a rank 3 Dazzler versus a rank 3 Doom, all his crit resistance. Kind of talked about how to play. We're going to continue to, don't worry, we're going to show you, the signature ability, the whole thing. This Dazzler is rank 2, going up against a rank 3, 331,000 health. We are Sig 20. I'll talk about that very briefly, but we're going to have a whole section where I show off the signature ability. Essentially, we're not going to be taking the physical damage back. That's why you're not going to see us losing health when Atuma's trying to damage us back for hitting him, okay? Our basic attacks are building the tempo. You see, it's the music note in the upper left-hand corner. When we get to the multiple of 10, we get the pink roller skate, which means we can do the dazzling dash. We've thrown our SP1. You see, I was early, so we did still get the energy vulnerability. Oh, I'm sorry. You get it off the SP1 regardless. You get a plus 10 tempo from nailing those inputs on the SP1. So that's really helpful, again, as we showed. Now we're going to go in and throw our SP2 here. We are going to have, let's say, probably around 50 some odd, 60 of our tempos. All of those buffs have their potency increased by how much tempo we have. That's why tempo is so important. 1, it helps you with the dazzling dash. 2, it's going to increase the potency of those SP2s. That was a rank 2 Dazzler destroying a rank 3 Atuma with all that health, and I missed the tempos of the SP1. Now, I know some of you, you're like, well, hey, look, Battlegrounds is as big of a deal to me. I'm more about the questing, that sort of thing. And I want to show you, this is why I think she's such a great overall champion. Great in Battlegrounds, obviously. This is a larger health pool. The node has increased. This is well past what we see in Battlegrounds. This would be a rank 3 Kingpin, 529,000 health. Now, I've taken my notes on what I've done here. So let's go ahead and look at this. And I want you to see, these are the numbers that she's capable of, right? The health pool of those champions was just smaller. Again, remember, this is a rank 3. So we're going to be going in here. We're going to punish this special, and we're going to heavy. If you heavy a champion, this is kind of a difficult to explain, but basically if you heavy a non-stun champion, you get 5 plus 5 tempo. So it's a very nice way to build your tempo as well too. It's why the designer calls out block proficiency being a great stat focus for her, right? Because we talked about the SP2 has a guaranteed crit anyway. So you can see that it's helping me build my tempo a little bit more quickly. So we're going in there, and we've got our SP1 up, so we've got our nice big energy vulnerability. Remember, this was like 550,000 health Kingpin, and the fight looks exactly the same as those 300, those 330, those 400 health pools I was just showing you. It's because that's how big like her damage multiplies. Now we did a better job with our tempo and things like that there. So we had more tempo when we threw the SP2, but that's what's possible if you play her well. If you keep the actual tempo of the fight going well, you're getting your dashing attacks in, you're knocking them down. And I'm going to show you wake up intercepts later, where that's another way to get more tempo by doing basically the similar thing. It's just ways of working skilled play into the fights. Now, I want to show you this. This is going to be the SP3 because we've talked about the SP1, The SP1 is basically the ramp. You want to nail those so you can get the tempo. The SP2 is going to be based off of essentially, yes, the inputs. You want to get those right so you can get that guaranteed crit at the end. You need to get 4 out of 5. But also, you're building your tempo as you get to the SP2, that big cash out, okay? It's going to increase potency of those buffs. Remember, she's nullify immune. And also, they wrote it so she does not trigger MD when those buffs go away. But what about the special 3? Why are you showing me a champion with 1.47 million health? Let's go and show you what her SP3 does, because it does a thing that is really, really cool. Dazzler kicks things into high tempo for 40 seconds. You're going to see it's enough time, allowing her to build up to 150 tempo so you can get your tempo past 100. Remember, the tempo is what's increasing the potency of those buffs on the special 2. And you also double all tempo while you gain. So I'll talk about it while we fast forward. A perfect result in the mini special 3 increases it to 60 seconds, or 50 if the result was semi-perfect. I'm only going to get the semi-perfect. Those of you who are used to the 5 stars and above know that there's that mini game in the special 3, right? So essentially, we're just going to hurry up to our special 3. It almost doesn't matter. You see, we have 35 tempo when we get there. I get the semi-perfect score, so we're going to be able to get 50 more tempo. We're going to be able to accumulate 50 more tempo before we cash out than we otherwise would. Think about it. That's a 50% increase in your tempo. Again, large increase for those buffs off the special 2, right? So now we're just going to go in and we're just going to build it. You see how quickly we are building our tempo now, knocking him down. We're using the falter off the dazzling dash to land our heavy. That was the other thing I really want to show you, and I'll show it to you in another fight too. If you do your dazzling dash into their block, it creates a passive stun. For me, that's safer. I sometimes had, if I tried to just punish, right, and I went immediately into my heavy, every once in a while, the defender would back up and hit me. So the safest way is to wait for them to block. It's just not as quick, okay? So in this route, one of the things you want to make sure is that your energy vulnerability does not fall off. Or if you've done all this work, you don't want your energy vulnerability to fall off, and it doesn't matter. You're able to get your tempo up to 150 so easily. You see how easy that was for me, right? So go close to your special 2 before you throw your special 1. That way you can get to your special 2 as quickly as possible so you have your energy vulnerability up. Look at this. He is at 70% health. He's going to be at 67% health when we throw our special 2. Remember, he had 1.14 million health, I think it was. There's a lot of damage. We're going to go into our special 2 here. He's at 67% health. He had 1.1 million. And he is absolutely decimated. Look at that. 500,000 second or last hit of the special 2. The total damage, I believe, was 768,683. That whole process took 2 minutes. And that was against Kingpin, right? Who can slow things down. I don't want to let him throw his special 2 or any of those sorts of things. So that more damage can go significantly faster if you're not sitting there trying to make sure the opponent doesn't throw their special 1 or their special 2. Also, you're knocking them down a lot. We'll talk about that when we do the final analysis on her here, or the initial analysis. Now we're going to move into this fight against Korg, and it's time to start talking about her signature ability. This is why I want her just at least awakened. During her hits, Dazzler takes no physical damage and instead reflects 87%. That's a lot at only Sig 20 of it back at the opponent as a burst of energy damage, right? That which usually works well against skill champions, right? So it's great against Korg, Atumas, Killmongers, and so on and so forth. I want to be abundantly clear. This will not help you against Electro. This is only against physical damage. This is like similar to what Namor does, but limited to physical burst, and then also you can amplify it as you grow the Sig. The second bullet point of the Sig is performing a Dazzling Dash, grants a pursuit passive. This is similar to what Prowler has. When you have a pursuit passive, the defender just can't, or the opponent just cannot evade. You only get it for 2.95 seconds. I don't think that's going to be enough in most fights at only Sig 20, but the first bullet point, even just at Sig 1, just not taking the physical damage back, she's got enough damage. You're going to be totally fine. Let's go ahead and look at this. This is against Korg. This is a rank 3 Korg, massive health pool. Rank 2, Sig 20 Dazzler. So I want to show you this. We are not getting 86%. That is a pretty good amount of damage reflected back. You can see the call out there. That's why he's getting those red numbers every once in a while when he has his thorns up, and we are just reflecting it back when he would have put it on us. But you're going to see. You're going to see. While that's really, really nice, our special 1, special 2 is going to absolutely obliterate him. I want to check my notes because I said I'm just so excited. This is a rank 2 Dazzler. This is a rank 2 going into a rank 3. We're using our dazzling dashes. Oh, you also get tempo when you evade a part of a special 1 there, or a special 2. So you can see we're getting a little bit of tempo there, which is obviously helpful. Right now, I think we're already getting very, very close to enough. And then we're getting some tempo every single time we punish the specials, right? With the dazzling dash, and then the special 2. Just absolutely obliterates. Rank 3 Korg, done. Down, dusted by a rank 2 Dazzler, only Sig 20. We did it in 49 minutes or seconds. That is a big health pool to absolutely demolish. Now, I wanted you to see what this looks like at Sig 200 because I will be taking her to Sig 200. It's just a matter of time, right? 6 stones, and there's other champions, but this is it here. And then in this fight, and then I'm going to show you Bullseye next. Look at this. The Dazzling Dash is granting that pursuit passive, which will now last for 10 seconds. That's a big deal. That is a big deal. I want to show this to you. So let's see what 200% of the damage reflected back at this Killmonger looks like. The really cool thing is this means you don't need to be worried about Killmonger here and his reverb at all. You can bait the special 1, you can bait the special 2. It doesn't matter how much power he has when his reverb goes up because you are reflecting it back to him anyway. Just play the fight. Just play the fight, and you're going to see what her damage looks like, right? Because Killmonger's got all that crit resistance. So you can see, like, well, she's relying on crits. This might be a bit of a problem here, right? Well, you tell me. You tell me what you think here after watching this. You can see we utilized the passive falter for my dash attack to get openings. It's great. I'm excited to talk to you when we place her on the tier list and show you. I'm not worried at all about pressing him red because we just absolutely destroyed him. We just absolutely destroyed him, demolished him. He was dead. We were going in for the big special too. I knew it. We had plenty of tempo. Don't even need to worry about it. That's how fast a fight against Killmonger. Rank 3 Killmonger, 38 seconds. Because again, we didn't need to worry about reverb at all. We did not need to worry about his power. We're not placing debuffs on him. We're just basically beating the crap out of him. All right, now Bullseye. This is like the culmination of it all. Remember, we have the Sig 200 Dazzler. So when we get our dazzling dash attacks, we're going to get that pursuit passive. It's now going to last for 10 seconds. And as you can see, if you're playing well, you are getting that dash attack more than every 10 seconds. So you're going to be able to keep that pursuit passive up unless something crazy comes in, some node or something like that. So if you can play Bullseye well, she can be exceptional. A key thing to bring into this fight, I have found, is those wake up intercepts. That's when you've knocked down the opponent, they're getting up. And if you can hit them before they've fully gone up and blocked, you're going to get more tempo, more dash attacks, more pursuit passives. Getting to your special 2 is easier and easier. Watch how this goes. Now, I'm still not good at evading Bullseye special 1. If you are, fantastic. You're going to see the health loss I have is from having to block that special 1. This is cool. This is like, Dazzler is good enough, and I'm enjoying the challenge enough where this will make me want to get good at this. But you can see we used the wake up intercept there. And then the other thing I want to call out I found is, remember, Bullseye can't miss. So this is where you really want to use your dash attack into a block if he's got his killer instinct up. Because if you go in and you rely on the falter, he could just hit you. You don't want that. If you're just going for intercept and you mistime it, he could hit you. He'll see through your passive falter. But right here, watch, I'm going to wait till he blocks. I made long and sure. We got our passive stun. Then we were able to go in, use our heavy, get more tempo. And now we're able just to use our pursuit passive to go ahead and just destroy him. His health pool is not as big as some of these other champions. So I think it was only like 313,000. That SB2 was way more than overkill. In fact, I'm curious. There might be a scenario, and we might get skilled enough with her over time, where people learn you don't even need, in some fights, to go to your SP1. The energy vulnerability is really nice. Also, for me, that was a way to get 40 tempo, which was great, right, from those inputs. But I think over time, if you're playing her well enough and you're creating your own tempo spots, like the wake-up intercept like you just saw on the screen, you might get to the point where you don't need to do that. All right, let's go ahead and take a look quickly at her synergies, and then I'll place her on the tier list and kind of give the initial conclusion. All right, quickly going over synergies. First of all, I think you saw she doesn't need them, right? She doesn't need them, but in quests or something like that, war, I could see you wanting to bring these in. This first one's with Kitty Pryde, who's currently 6-star locked, so I don't know. But if you want Dazzler to take an incinerate fight, she's got it because of the little dragon, right? I think that makes a lot of sense. Kitty Pryde's dragon, Lockheed, providing the incinerator immunity. I love it. Totally makes sense. It's a nice flavor thing, right? Okay, cool. This one with long shot, Dazzler builds 1 additional tempo and dodging a special attack. If that's how you're building your tempo, this is obviously nice. This is a reason to bring in long shot. And best I can tell, it's going to work out pretty well for long shot. DLL called it out in his that this is modified by long shots plus 300% ability accuracy. So I think that brings that up to a 30% chance, right? Moving on to the Disco Inferno. Dazzler performs the Dazzler Dash affects an Incinerate debuff. This is a nice way to get a debuff off of your Dazzling Dash. Dealing 20% of an attack as energy damage. I don't think this is going to be a massive source of damage, but like if you need to apply a debuff for some reason, I think it's like Polka Dot Power that even calls out specifically for an Incinerate. So this is allowing her to bring those in. And those are some pretty good champions. Like that's one thing I do like about this a lot is her synergy partners are very good champions for the most part. Now this Staying Alive, once per quest when receiving a damage that would knock her out, Dazzler gains an immortality buff for 6 seconds. Remember, she's Nullify immune, not Stagger immune or, these other Neutralize immune, but she is Nullify immune. So that sounds great to someone like me. I really like that idea. Murder on the Dance Floor. This one's pretty cool. Like playing her more and more and seeing how much you can help out your tempo gains, right, with those Wake Up intercepts. This is with Spiral, who's insanely powerful. Knocking down the opponent grants a non-stacking 300 Jiggy with it buff for 10 seconds. I believe that makes you go passively unstoppable. Check the pinned comment on this one because that's sounding more and more really, really awesome for her tempo and keeping her flow going. And 10 seconds seems like a long time. So check the pinned comment where I will clarify or at least confirm that one. And then the Welcome to Die. Each you get a 10% special damage or 20% if Magneto is on the team. You saw how much her special does. That sounds like a good thing. Those aren't some bad champions on the team. And then this nice little crit rating here with Domino Hyperion Scarlet Witch. So her synergies are all really powerful. Are they necessary? No, not at all. All right, now this is going to be Dazzler's initial placement on the tier list. Now we did the tier list for November. I was able to talk about her, had her abilities, able to play her a little bit. And I actually feel great about these scores. In fact, I think she's going to go up in Battlegrounds. I believe we currently have her rated as an 8. I think she is going to have a use in war, yes, even in high tier, because you saw what she does to all of those skilled champions, right? The issue is going to be maybe if there's a node that gives them an extreme amount of power. She has no power control, but her flow is really good and she can get the fights over pretty fast. So it would have to be a pretty extreme amount of power control, or there obviously if there is a node putting dots on, right? Like she has access to the Incinerate, immunity, and then the shock resistance via the Odin pre-fights. So that's that. But like those are things that a variety of champions, if you look at them, you could say against them. Not every champion's got immunities, but that's part of what we rate on them. She doesn't handle miss. She doesn't handle auto block. But if you get her a high enough sig, you're handling evade like really, really, really well. We showed that with the Bullseye fight there as well too. So you can see we have the insignia that she's rated as being awakened. And I do think you want her awakened, because that's what's going to help you take a lot of those skilled champions, or it's going to help you minimize their threat so you can get the fight over so fast. So I definitely think you want her awakened. And then as she gets the sig up, you're going to use, as we showed, it's going to help you handle those evades. So I think she's incredibly worthy of 6 zones. I know I will be putting mine in, assuming I continue to love playing her as much as I think I will. I do think there's a small chance she moves to tier above all, but I don't think so. And the reason why I don't think so is because I think she's incredibly well balanced, in that it appears to me that there are ways for Kabam to kind of shut her down, right? She's not taking auto block. She's not taking misfights. She doesn't have natural immunities innate to her at all. So I think she's going to be able to be shut down by Kabam, and I think that provides a phenomenal champion. She's going to be a Battlegrounds monster. I think a lot of people are going to want her. She's handling all those skill threats for you, and she's not her kit. Like if you think about it, because I know I just put out the video on Morbius. To me, she feels like a combo of Morbius and Kitty Pryde without the brokenness of Kitty Pryde. And I don't want to put words in DLL's mouth, but I feel like he said something pseudo similar to that in his Spotlight with Context, and I really feel it. I feel like her flow is better than Morbius's. And I also think the fact that she doesn't need to put a debuff up and have it stay up in order to cash out of her SP2 helps her out significantly, and therefore she's not going to be as messed with by simple things and even just the AI going passive or in a node set. She's phenomenal. She's awesome. By the time you've seen this, I probably already have a rank 3. We'll see what that battle pass looks like. And then, of course, tune in every single month. You can see as we adjust all the ratings, all the promotions, all the demotions, and update that based on what we've learned and also the metas, meaning the nodes and defenders that Kabam is throwing at us. As usual, let me know what you think I got right. Let me know what you think I got wrong. I hope you have your own Dazzler and you're having an absolute blast with her. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.